My beloved child, listen to this with peace and watchfulness. Do not give your entire life to things that do not have the strength to remain with you until the end. There are things people build that seem firm, yet with only one shift in the wind, one unexpected event, one judgment from the crowd, one season of human decline, everything can begin to tremble. Wealth may be full today and empty tomorrow. Fame may lift you high, then leave you alone in loneliness. The opinions of people may raise you up with praise, and then wound you with silence or criticism. These things are not always evil, but they must never become your foundation. I give you many things to use, to steward, and to make useful for others, but I do not want you to worship them through inward dependence. Look carefully at this world. People spend years gathering, building a name, protecting an image, and making others look at them with admiration. They think that when they have enough money, enough position, enough approving voices, they will be safe. But safety placed upon what changes will also change with it. A person may possess much and still fear losing it. A person may be widely known and still worry about being forgotten. A person may be praised without end and still feel empty when returning to a quiet room. My child, what is temporary often promises more than it can keep. It says it will make you steady, but in truth it requires you to keep protecting it. It says it will give you worth, but in truth it makes you afraid whenever it begins to shake. Therefore, I teach you not to set your roots in sand. Sand may look beautiful beneath the sun, may feel soft beneath your feet, and may make you think you are standing in a pleasant place, but sand cannot hold a house when heavy rain pours down. There are choices that at first seem convenient, pleasing to people, and requiring little sacrifice, yet because they are not founded upon truth, when trials come, they reveal their weakness. There are also paths that appear narrower, require more patience from you, and compel you to let go of what is easy, yet they set your feet upon the rock. The rock is not always as comfortable as sand, but the rock endures. The rock does not always indulge your footsteps, but it keeps you from collapse. I want your life to be built upon what is lasting, not upon beautiful coverings that the first storm can sweep away. Remember the story of Noah. While many continued living, as though tomorrow would surely be just like today, Noah quietly did what I had commanded, even though those around him might not have understood, might have mocked him, and might have considered his obedience strange. He built an ark in days when the sky had not yet shown what others would fear. Each strike of his hammer was a declaration that he believed what I had spoken more than the false calm of what his eyes could see. Before the waters rose, the ark may have appeared meaningless, but when the rain came, the very thing that had been despised became the place that preserved life. Do you see? The one who builds life according to my word may be misunderstood in the season of preparation, but when the storm comes, obedience will prove that such a foundation was never useless. In the same way, you will have seasons when you must choose between what the crowd approves and what I have placed in your heart as upright. Your faithfulness may not be celebrated. Your refusal to compromise may cost you a few opportunities that look very attractive from the outside. When you do not chase after praise, others may think you are slower, less wise, less outstanding. But my beloved child, do not fear being judged by those who only see the surface. A house whose foundation is being dug deep may look slower than a house quickly raised upon the ground. But when the season of fierce winds comes, the difference will be revealed. I am not preparing you for beauty that lasts only one day. I am preparing you for steadiness through many seasons. Wealth, when placed under my guidance, can become a river of blessing. But if you set your heart upon wealth, it will become a harsh master. Reputation, when used to serve what is good, can open a way for light to touch many people. But if you live for reputation, you will become a prisoner of changing eyes. The comments of others, when received with wisdom, may help you learn. But if you let them determine your worth, You will be tossed back and forth like a reed in the wind. I am not telling you to despise everything that belongs to daily life. I am teaching you to put them in their proper place. They may be in your hands, but they must not sit upon the throne of your heart. What cannot be shaken is my love for you, the good purpose I have placed within you, and the promise held by my own faithful nature. People may change the way they look at you, but I do not look at you with instability. Circumstances may rise and fall, but my mercy does not dry up with the season. What you hold may be lost, but what I have sown in you by grace cannot be stolen when you remain in the light. When you build your life upon me, you do not become immune to storms, but you have a foundation that storms cannot define. Rain may fall, waters may rise, winds may blow fiercely, but the house set upon the rock does not collapse merely because the weather changes. There are times when I allow temporary things around you to shake, not to terrify you, but to show you where you have placed your trust. When the disappearance of praise wounds you too deeply, I gently show you that you have leaned too much on human voices. When a plan falls apart and makes you think everything has ended, I show you that you have treated that plan as the source of your life. When something you possess is taken away, I do not delight in your pain, but I desire to bring you back to the truth that you do not belong to what you hold in your hands. You belong to me, and what belongs to me is not determined by the gain or loss of material things, positions, or human opinions. So learn to live more lightly with what passes quickly. Be grateful when something is given, but do not let your heart be bound to it. Work diligently, but do not turn achievement into an idol. Receive encouragement, but do not let praise become your only food. Love others, but do not hand them the authority to decide whether you are precious or not. Build your life with truth, faithfulness, humility, mercy, and obedience. These stones may not glitter like the things the world displays, but they can endure time. A quiet life built upon the right foundation is more precious than a tall tower that is hollow within. If you are seeing things around you tremble, do not quickly conclude that I am moving away from you. Perhaps I am removing from you a misplaced trust. Perhaps I am inviting you to step from soft sand onto solid rock. Perhaps I am teaching you to distinguish between what you use and what you rely upon. Let the shaking become a call to awaken. Ask your heart, if this were lost, would you still trust me? If others no longer recognized you, would you still know that you are seen by me? If the road became difficult, would you still choose faithfulness? These questions are not meant to frighten you, but to free you from dependence on things that do not have the power to save and keep you. I want you to stand firm, my beloved child, not through false toughness, but through being deeply rooted in me. Return to my promises as a weary one returns home. Let my love become your resting place, not your success. Let my truth become the light that guides your way, not the noise of the crowd. Let your heart be rebuilt upon the rock, where you can weep without collapsing, wait without despairing, suffer loss without losing yourself, and be misunderstood while still keeping purity. When you live this way, you will no longer chase after every shining thing in search of assurance. You will know that you already have a portion more enduring than gold, deeper than reputation, stronger than every word of praise or criticism. Finally, remember that what I build in you is not only for bright and sunny days, but also for seasons of storm. A faith that can stand only when everything is favorable has not yet been tested in depth, but a heart that still clings to me when waters rise and winds blow will become a living testimony of my faithfulness. Do not fear the storm if your foundation is me. Do not fear the loss of applause if you can still hear the loving voice of your Father. Do not fear temporary things passing away, for when they pass, what remains will show you where you are truly standing. I am the one who does not change, and in me you will find a refuge that time cannot wear away. Build your life upon that firm rock, and though the world may be shaken, you will still stand. not because you are stronger than the storm, but because the one who holds you is more enduring than every storm. My beloved child, on the journey you are walking, there are moments when you think you are standing alone before crossroads, yet in truth, not one of your steps has ever fallen outside my loving gaze. From your earliest days, when you were still tender and did not yet understand the full meaning of choice, I quietly kept you through winding paths, through seasons of joy, and even through roads where you trembled, because you did not know what lay ahead. My hand does not always appear through great signs, but it is present in the times you were pulled away from danger, in the delays that protected you, in the doors that closed, so you would not enter places that would weary your heart. Even so, there are moments when I do not give you an immediate answer, do not lay out a clear map before you, and do not place before your eyes a sign that removes your need to think. I remain silent, not because I am absent, but because I am inviting you into maturity. You need to understand that my love does not turn you into someone who only waits for commands and obeys in fear. I love you as a father who wants you to grow in wisdom, who wants you to know how to stand firm, to consider carefully, to discern, to distinguish, and to choose what is right, even when no one stands beside you to remind you. If every path were brightly lit by me from beginning to end, you would not learn how to trust when mist covers the way. If every question were answered immediately, you would not know how to dig deep into discernment within your heart. If every wind were blocked by me before it touched you, you would never recognize that there is an endurance I planted in you very early. Therefore, my silence is sometimes a holy classroom where you are taught not only to hear, but also to live according to what you have already been taught. There are days when you ask for a very clear word, but the answer that comes is a quiet emptiness. You look up to heaven and wonder whether I am listening. You wait for a door to open on its own, for confirmation through someone, for an arrangement that will remove all uncertainty. But my child, I still hear every word you speak. I still know the anxiety pressing upon your chest. I still see your eyes, searching for light in the midst of uncertainty. The reason I do not always answer in the way you expect is that I am giving you the opportunity to use what I have already formed within you: uprightness, reverence, the ability to recognize good fruit, and the courage to choose what is right, even when what is right is not easy. A mature child does not only know how to walk when the Father points out every step. That child learns the ways of the Father so deeply that even at a crossroads, they can recognize which direction carries the fragrance of truth. Think of Abraham when he was called to leave the familiar and go to a land he had not yet seen. I did not open the entire journey before his eyes, with every detail written out. I did not tell him in advance what every turn would hold, did not reveal all the trials, and did not fully explain why he had to leave what was familiar in order to step into what was unknown. But because of that, his faith was not merely a word, it became footsteps. He had to leave the safety of what he could see in order to learn to trust the one who led him. Do you see? There are promises that are not fully understood at the beginning, but are discovered when the one who is called is willing to walk. I do not hide the road to make you lost, but to teach you to cling to me more deeply than to a map, and to love my will more than your own certainty. In the same way, when I place you before a choice and do not immediately give the answer, I am not throwing you into darkness. I am gently asking you, what in you has truly grown? Will you choose because you fear displeasing people, or because your heart knows what is right? Will you run after the easiest way, or will you step into the harder way that preserves purity? Will you wait for everyone to agree before you obey, or will you dare to remain faithful even when everything around you is still silent? These questions are not meant to confuse you, but to reveal the maturity being formed within you. For what is precious is not only that you choose rightly when every sign is clear, What is even more precious is that you choose truth when it requires courage. I want you to know that the freedom I give is not an empty space for careless living, but room for you to love what is good with a willing heart. I could compel you by power, but I do not do so, because obedience that is forced does not bring forth mature love. I want you to follow me not because you have been cornered, but because you have seen that my ways are good. I want you to refuse what is wrong, not only because you fear consequences, but because your heart has come to love the light. I want you to choose what is right, not only because someone is watching, but because you know I see you, and because truth has become precious within you. When you choose this way, you are no longer someone dragged along by circumstances. You become one who stands firm in wisdom. Perhaps you fear that if I remain silent, you will choose wrongly, but my beloved child, do not forget that I have already sown many signs within you. I have taught you through your stumbles, through gentle reminders, through seasons of waiting, through upright people I placed beside you, and through the times peace left you when you drew near to what was not right. These lessons have not disappeared. They remain like bright stones on the road, helping you recognize the path you should take. When you sincerely desire to do what is pleasing to me, even in uncertainty, I can still adjust your steps, stop you, open another direction, or use your very decision to teach you more deeply. I do not demand that you become someone who never makes mistakes. I invite you to become soft enough to be corrected, humble enough to learn, and brave enough to continue. Maturity often does not come in the days when you are carried through every difficulty, but when you must stand up, place your feet upon the ground, and discover that my grace is upholding you from within. A child rejoices when being carried, but one day the father must set the child down so the child can learn to walk. When the child wavers, the father does not leave. He stands near, opens his arms, watches, encourages, and is ready to catch the child when needed. I deal with you in the same way. There are times when I place you on the ground of decision, not so you may fall in loneliness, but so you may realize that the legs of your faith are stronger than before. I am not far from you. While you are learning to walk, I simply do not do in your place everything you need to learn in order to become steady. So do not see uncertainty as a sign of abandonment. There are unclear places where faith is refined into brightness. There are delayed answers where patience is built. There are difficult choices where your true character is revealed. When everything is too easy, you may mistake convenience for righteousness. But when you must pause, pray, consider, seek wisdom, and take responsibility, you begin to become the child I have prepared, not impulsive, not swept away by noise, not opening doors carelessly, not chasing temporary emotion, but weighing all things beneath the light of truth. If today you are standing before a crossroads, return to the foundations I have placed within you. Will what you are about to choose bring you closer to the light? Will it keep you in uprightness? Will it cause you to love in a purer way? Will it make you hide, rush, compromise, or lose your peace? Do not only ask which way is easier, which way receives more praise, or which way brings faster benefit. Ask which way makes you more faithful. Ask which way helps you live according to what I have taught you. Ask which way you can place before me without needing to lower your head in shame. When you ask this way, you will find that silence is no longer frightening. It becomes the place where the voice of wisdom can be heard more clearly. Finally, my beloved child, trust that I am still the Father who is near. Even when I do not speak in the way you desire, I am in the deep peace that comes when you choose what is right. I am in the gentle warning when you are about to stray. I am in the courage that enables you to step onto a difficult but pure road. I am in the tenderness that lifts you up if you choose wrongly and know how to return. I do not build your life by cold control, but by training love, by freedom filled with light, and by silent seasons that help you grow. Walk forward, but do not walk in pride. Decide, but do not decide apart from me. Take responsibility, but do not carry it alone. For at every crossroads, whether I speak loudly or remain silent, I am still leading you toward maturity, toward what is good, and toward the fullness my love prepared for you. From the beginning, my beloved child, let my word touch the deepest hidden place within you today, because there is a very subtle trap that often does not appear in the shape of darkness, but clothes itself in the glittering garment of admiration. A person may be tested not only by suffering, lack, or rejection, but also by the moments of being noticed, being praised, and being lifted high in the eyes of others. When the eyes of the crowd turn toward you, when praise begins to warm your heart, when you feel needed and your name is spoken, stay watchful. Visibility itself is not sin, but if you allow it to become the source that feeds your worth, it will quietly become a soft net wrapped around your steps. I have not called you to live inside that net. I have called you to live in the freedom of obedience. There are people who begin their journey with great purity, desiring only to do what is right, to serve what is noble, and to use what has been entrusted to them to bring light to others. But when praise begins to increase, they gradually learn to adjust their words, so they do not lose the approval of the crowd, to hide part of the truth so they can keep their position, and to soften uprightness so they may continue to be liked. My child, that is a slippery road. No one falls all at once through one great step. Often decline begins with one small compromise, one decision to say what others want to hear instead of what I have placed in the heart, one moment of silence before what is wrong, because one fears losing support. If you do not guard your heart, what was once a tool for service will become a throne demanding that you kneel before it. I do not want you to hate recognition, but I want you to put it in its proper place. Encouraging words can strengthen you, but they must not become your foundation. The gratitude of others may be a gift, but it must not become your breath. If you only stand firm when someone applauds, then, when every sound fades away, you will tremble. If you only feel that you have value when you are seen, then the sights of people will make you think you have been forgotten. But when you place your worth in my purpose for you, you will not be lifted by the crowd and then pulled down by that very same crowd. You will know that there is a gaze higher than every gaze, a recognition deeper than every compliment, an approval more lasting than every fading cheer. Remember John the Baptist, who lived in a strange and humble mission. He did not seek palaces, fine garments, or seats of honor among the powerful. He stood in the wilderness, calling the people to return, preparing the way for the one who would come after him. For a time, many came to hear him preach. Many eyes were turned toward him, and many thought he was the center. But when the one who had been sent appeared, John did not cling to the crowd, did not compete for position, and did not suffer because he had to step back. He understood that his joy was not found in being surrounded by others, but in completing the portion entrusted to him. Do you see? True nobility is not always standing at the center. Sometimes the noblest thing is knowing how to step back at the right time, so the holy purpose may shine more clearly. From that story, I want you to learn how to distinguish between influence and ambition, between being sent and building a monument to yourself. When I place light within you, that light is not meant to make you someone to be worshipped, but to illuminate the way for those who need hope. When I give you a voice, that voice is not for gathering admiration to yourself, but for lifting, reminding, healing, and leading others back to what is true. When I open a position for you, that position is not for proving that you are greater than anyone, but for serving with purity. If you forget this, you will begin to love the platform more than the mission, to love hearing your name more than loving the truth, and to love visible results more than hidden faithfulness. There will be days when I allow you to work in silence, with no one praising you, no one knowing, no one mentioning your labor. Do not grieve over this, Silence is the school of those being prepared for what endures. In the place without applause, I teach you the true reason you are doing what you do. In the place without witnesses, I train you in faithfulness that does not depend on immediate reward. In the place where no one calls your name, I remind you that I still know every drop of sweat, every prayer, every upright choice you have quietly held on to. What is done before me is never lost, even when people do not record it, even when no one mentions it, even when you yourself sometimes think it is small. Be careful of the desire to please everyone. It may look like kindness, but if it is not brought into the light, it will turn you into someone controlled by the reactions of others. If they are pleased today, you feel you are right. If they are offended tomorrow, you begin to doubt your calling. If they praise you today, you feel strong. If they are silent tomorrow, you feel empty. My child, you cannot live according to the purpose I have given you while allowing the crowd to hold the strings of your heart. The one who lives in obedience will sometimes be misunderstood. The one who speaks truth in love will sometimes not be welcomed. The one who chooses the light will sometimes have to walk alone along a narrow path, but do not fear the narrow path, for I am always present there with those who choose faithfulness over visibility. Not every light needs to shine in a public square in order to have value. There is a small lamp placed in an empty room that has saved someone from despair. There is a quiet word that has lifted a heart from the depths. There is unseen faithfulness that has kept a family from falling apart, a community from losing its way, a generation from forgetting the path home. Do not measure your mission by the number of people applauding. Measure it by obedience, by good fruit, by pure peace, by whether you are still standing in the place where I have set you. If I entrust you to touch only one person, but you touch that person with true love, it is not small before me. Heaven does not measure by noise. Heaven measures by faithfulness. There may be times when you see others being lifted more quickly, becoming more widely known, receiving more praise, and your heart suddenly begins to waver. In those moments, return to me. Do not compare your path with another person's path, because each one has been entrusted with a different portion in my garden. The olive tree does not need to envy the cedar. The small stream does not need to be ashamed, because it is not the great sea. What matters is not how great you appear before human eyes, but whether you bear the fruit. I desire from you a humble, pure, and enduring life may carry deeper power than a life that shines brightly but is empty within. Therefore, my beloved child, allow me to purify your desires. Let me ask you gently, if no one sees, will you still want to do what is right? If no one praises, will you still want to serve? If truth costs you some support, will you still choose truth? If you must step back so that what I desire may be revealed more clearly, will you be willing? These questions are not meant to burden your heart, but to free you from the chains of recognition. When you can answer honestly that you want to belong to my will more than to applause, you will enter a very deep freedom. The freedom of not needing to perform, not needing to strain, not needing to trade purity in order to be liked. Choose the path of faithfulness, even if that path is not always crowded. Choose uprightness, even if it does not always bring immediate praise. Choose the purpose I have entrusted to you, even when you must pass through a season of silence. I have not forgotten you in that silence. I see you when you do what is right and no one knows. I hear you when you pray in the secret room. I remember the sacrifices you never told anyone about. And in the right season, what needs to be revealed will be revealed, not to nourish pride in you, but to prove that faithfulness before me is never useless. Finally, let this be engraved deeply within you. The destiny I have given you is not measured by how many people speak your name, but by whether you live according to what I have placed within you. You must not build your life upon fading noise, because that noise can shift with the wind. Build your life upon my presence, upon the gaze that never leaves you, upon the purpose that does not fade with time. When you live this way, you will no longer fear being forgotten, because you know you are known by me. You will no longer be a slave to visibility, because you have found joy in obedience. And in a world that constantly longs to be seen, you will become a sign of holy freedom, shining not to draw every eye, but to complete what I have entrusted to you with a humble, pure, and enduring heart until the end.